Hello my friends, and welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can get up and running incredibly quickly with Komorebi, the tiling window manager for Windows, which is written in the Rust programming language. As you can see, this is a completely fresh virtual machine. We are really going from scratch. So first up, we head over to the repository. That is github.com/gz/Komorebi. There is a link here in the About, which will take you to the documentation page. Let's make this a little bit bigger. And let's turn on dark mode. Once you land here, you might see this and think, wow, that looks so cool. And you may have seen other people's desktops, people who are using Komorebi or other tiling window managers, and you might have thought that is so cool, but it looks so complicated and I'm not sure that I could get my desktop looking like that. Put those thoughts out of your head right now. Super easy. It's going to take less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes. Let's go. Getting started. So since this is a brand new machine, I'm just going to do a little bit of housekeeping first, which is enabling support for long paths. I don't need to do this one because on virtual machines, unnecessary animations are turned off by default, but this is where you can go to do that. So first off, we'll copy this command and we will open a terminal window in administrator mode. And we're just going to paste in that command. Once that is done, you can close out that window. There are a number of ways to install Komorebi. We're going to be walking through the WinGet method because WinGet these days is bundled with, I think, pretty much every version of Windows 11. So if you have a brand new virtual machine, a brand new installation, you're going to have WinGet. So click here, it's going to bring you to the WinGet section, and we can open up a new terminal. I'm going to make this a little bigger. And we can do winget install gz.komorebi and gz.whkd. Hit return on that. If this is your first time using WinGet, it's going to ask you to view and accept the source agreement's terms. Hit yes, and it will start pulling down and installing those two packages. So Komorebi is the window manager itself. WHKD, which stands for Windows Hotkey Daemon, is what you use to set your shortcuts to interact. So now that this is installed, we want to close this terminal window again and open up a fresh one, because I don't know why WinGet doesn't fix this, but basically after you do WinGet install, it doesn't add binaries to the path until you open a new session. But anyway, open a new one, type in Komorebi C -- help, and you'll see the help output. And this is how you can verify that everything has been installed correctly. We're going to do a little detour just for me because I'm running this on a virtual machine and virtual machines don't have OpenGL installed by default. I don't know why, but it just takes a second. We're going to need this in order to render the Komorebi status bar, which is new as of version 0.1.29. And it's very cool. A lot of people have asked for like a default status bar for a long time. And yeah, we finally made one. There's a whole series about how it was made on YouTube. So we've done these steps, and it says once Komorebi is installed, proceed to get the example configurations. So our next stop is the Komorebi C Quickstart command. You can just type that in, then you'll see the example files have been created, and you can now run Komorebi C start whkd bar. And that means it's also going to start the hotkey daemon, and it's going to start the status bar. I probably should have given my VM some more CPU and some more RAM, but that's okay. We are up and running now, so we have our borders, we have our windows being tiled, we have a couple of different workspaces here. So at this point, you're up and running. Like, that's it. You're good. Like, this is a perfectly viable setup for you to use. I would suggest spending some time getting familiar with the Komorebi.json file, which is all laid out for you, nicely highlighted here. Also getting familiar with the different layouts. You know what? We can do a little layout tour here, I think. Maybe you can do it along with me. So if you get 4 windows open, head on over here to where it says BSP. This is the layout indicator. So this is the BSP layout, binary space partitioning, and it goes in like this golden ratio pattern. I don't know how else to describe it. Layout pattern. Next up, we have, I'm not sure if this is the same order. Let's see. So you click here, and then you get the columns layout next. And as you'd expect, everything just gets laid out in columns. After this, you can try out the rows layout. This layout I find very useful if you have a vertically oriented monitor. I like to have the rows layout with a couple of chat apps, one on top of the other. I find that 3 rows with different chat apps, like maybe Slack or Teams, then WhatsApp, then Discord, really, really nice layout. Not so good on a horizontal screen. Then we have the vertical stack layout, which is a main column here on the left, and then all of the windows get stacked here on the right. Then we have horizontal stack, same idea, but just kind of flipped, where you have a main row and then a stack row that grows horizontally here. Next up is my personal favorite layout, the one you'll see me using the most in my YouTube videos, the ultra-wide vertical stack. This gives you a slightly bigger column, a primary column in the middle, a secondary full-length column on the left, and then all additional windows are stacked up on the right. I think this is the last one, the grid layout, pretty self-explanatory. If you add more windows, if it's an odd number, it'll be like this. If it is an even number, it will be an evenly spaced grid. Oh, we also have the right main vertical stack, which is the same as the vertical stack, but flipped, so that the main column is on the right. And then we're back to BSP. So you can come down here to look at all of the example key bindings. These are all pretty good, I think. So Alt and Q to close, Alt and M to minimize a window. You focus with the home row keys plus Alt. So I'll do this. So let me get those up here. Alt and L to the right, Alt and J to the bottom, Alt and K, no, I hit the wrong one, Alt and L to the right, and Alt and H to the left. And if you do this while holding both Alt and Shift, you can swap the windows and put them in different positions. That's the main, yeah, that's pretty much what 90% of your interaction with the hotkeys is going to be. And then there's also switching between workspaces, Alt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you can also, with the status bar, you can click here if you want to do that as well. What else? Just briefly on the status bar, if you click here, you will get Explorer opened at the C drive. If you click on the RAM, you'll get the Task Manager. If you click on the Network widget, you get the actually useful network connections thing, not this useless thing that comes up here now in newer versions of Windows. yeah, that's pretty much it. So I would really encourage you to spend some time going through and reading this page, the example configurations page. After that, check out the common workflows page. Also, really basic stuff that people often want to do once they're setting up a window manager, like ignoring windows, removing gaps, playing around with the borders. Like it's all documented here. Once you've gotten through those two things, I would take a look at the configuration references for both the Komorebi configuration here and the status bar configuration. And so this is komorebi.bar.json in your home directory, and this is komorebi.json. You know what? It's only 10 minutes into the video. Why don't we mix it up a little bit? So I'm going to install VS Code. And we can actually just get these up and have a look. And I can show you how auto-completion can be used to help you make a nice configuration. Because when there are so many options, and if you don't have autocomplete, it can be a real pain getting the setup that you want. But actually, if you have VS Code or any modern code editor installed, it will automatically look up these things. I need to reopen terminal because I just installed something with WinGet. So I'm going to do code komorebi.json. And that should open up the configuration file. There we are. Weird. I know you're there. Komorebi.json. There we go. Let's make this a little bit bigger. So one of the things you may have noticed is that the virtual machine does not support rounded borders. I think we should do something different with our borders. So if I didn't know, right, how am I gonna make this work? Let's say I didn't know that border style was an option. I would come here on the right. I would open a new pair of double quotes. That's what they are. I'd come down and I'd look and I'd see, hey, border style, that kind of sounds like what I want. I do a semicolon, and these are the different valid variants of border style. So let's say I want a square border style. And then I can save that. And now we have square borders. And so, if you want to set a different theme, there are two palettes. There's the Capuchin palette, which only has, I think, 4 themes, like Mocha and the other ones. Base 16 has a lot, so if you wanted a different one, like they're all here, right? They're all here. So these are all the valid ones. You can pick one, try it out. It will automatically update. And yeah, I think one thing that a lot of people let's say there are 2 main things. So if you have more than one monitor, right? Monitors here is an array, and right now we only have one monitor configured. And just to make this a little bit simpler, let's get rid of all of this. So right now we have one monitor. This whole thing is a monitor. This is a monitor, and it has one workspace. This is a workspace. And if you want to have another monitor, you add a comma here, and you open up another set of curly braces. Each monitor is responsible for its own workspaces. So let's give these different names. So monitor 1, workspace 1, BSP, right? And here we can have monitor 2. Let's say this is vertical and it's going to be rows. And then we give this the rows layout here, which again, you can get auto completion for. This is how you do multiple monitors. I'm on a VM, I don't need that right now, but I would encourage you to look at all of the different options under here as well. Yeah, that's about it. That is about it. That is how you get up and running in less than 10 minutes with Komorebi, the tiling window manager for Windows. If you do get stuck, you are more than welcome to open a thread in the discussions on GitHub, in the issues, and we also have a very active Discord server. Here you can click the invite is there. There are like 1,500 people now. Amazing, and they're all really, really good at configuring Komorebi. They have some crazy advanced workflows that even I don't have. I'm like a really basic user of Komorebi, but when you come into the Discord and you see some of the cool stuff that people are doing, the possibilities really, really are endless. So, as is tradition, we're going to wrap this up by saying thank you to all of the lovely, lovely sponsors of this project. I am going to start from right to left. Thank you to Choco, to David, Thomas, Chris, Timothy, private sponsor number 1, Azine, James, Pavel, Felipe, private sponsor number 2, R. Lopez Negrete, thank you very much, Daniel, Johan, Cody, Amr, Nia, Chris, Purian, Harold, Andy, PJHFGGIJ, Hyro, DM1681, Darian, Surefire, Solomon, private sponsor, is that number 3? Kilroy, my boy, Evan, Alex, and of course the number 1, the OG, the first sponsor, Hisayuki Mima. Thank you all so much, my friends. Your support means a great, great deal. If you too would like to become a sponsor, just head on over to the sponsor page. You can be a one-time sponsor. You can be a monthly sponsor. If you can be a sponsor for $5 a month, that's incredible. Like, that's amazing. But honestly, even if it's just $1 a month, it makes such a huge difference to me, and I appreciate it so, so very much. If, however, you are not in a position to become a sponsor, the very, very next best thing that you can do is just make sure you are subscribed to the Jeezy Codes YouTube channel. It's actually the first month now that through all of the interactions, through all of the subscribers and people watching the videos, that the project will be receiving its first $100 payout from YouTube. It took like 9 months to reach $100, but it's crazy, right? It's so cool. It's a really easy, simple, and passive way for anybody to contribute financially to the health and the future of this project. Alrighty, my friends, that is all for today. I hope that whatever you all do today, you have a great, great day. Free Palestine, and I'll see you all back here next time.